Hi friends, in this video we're going to talk about how are JWTs signed and validated. JWT stands for JSON Web Token. The purpose of JWT is to send information between two parties with a signature. This adds to security of the transmission because the receiver can validate whether the source of that information is sent by the sender genuinely. That means if the message is tampered in between during the transmission, the receiver can get to know using the signature. To understand how JWT works, there is this awesome site called jwt.io, and let's go to that site to understand how JWT works. And here in the home page itself, you have something called a JWT debugger, and let's try to select the algorithm to RS256, which uses public and private key for encrypting or signing the tokens. So this is an example JWT, and you can see JWT is just a string, and you have two periods. This is first dot and this is the second dot. So there are actually three sections in a JWT, and the middle section is actually the data that is transmitted in the JWT. So the section before the middle section is the header of JWT, and the section after the middle section is actually the signature of JWT. But hey, this is not a JSON. This is just a random string, right? But actually this is the base64 URL encoded version of the JSON. You can see in the right the base64 URL decoded version of this JWT. That means if you decode this string in base64 URL encoding, you will get this JSON, and if you decode this string using base64 URL decoding, you will get this string. Let's test out theory actually. Let's try to base64 URL decode this string and see whether that is this JSON or not. So in my blog post, I have given a link for base64 URL decoding online. Let's go to this URL and let's try to copy this and try to base64 URL decode this string, and let's try to decode base64, and this is the JSON which we got, which matches with this JSON. So all the three sections of the JWT are base64 URL decoded, and the three sections are separated by a dot. Here you might have a question that what if there is a dot in this header, then how can we recognize what is the separator of the segments and what is the header? Since this is a base64 URL encoded text, dot cannot be a part of this encoding. Let's go to Wikipedia to know about base64 URL encoding. So the allowed characters in base64 URL encoding is A to Z, capital letters, small letters, 0 to 9, and plus and slash, and equal to for padding. Only these characters are allowed in base64 encoding. Of course, in our case, we are using base64 URL encoding. That's why plus and slash will be replaced by dash and underscore. But however, dot is not a part of base64 URL encoding. So it's a clever way to combine the two segments using a dot, because dot can anyways not be a part of base64 URL encoding. So now we understood the structure of a JWT. To send this message securely, we are attaching two segments. One is the header and one is a signature. The header contains the information about the signature. The information is like how is the signature generated by the sender, so that the receiver can use the same information to verify the authenticity of the JWT. Alright, let's try to first understand how is the signature generated by the sender. Let us take this example. In this example, the sender is trying to secure this JSON. So first, the sender has created a base64 URL encoding of this JSON and created this segment. And then since the sender is using RS256 algorithm to sign this JWT, he has created a header something like this algorithm RS256 and type as JWT. And the sender has converted this JSON into base64 URL encode and attached it here. So now we got the two segments very easily, which is the header and the payload. So now how to generate the signature? So before understanding how the signature is generated, let us understand why is the signature being used. Let's try to relate it with our real world. If you want to authenticate a document, you actually sign it. In an ideal case, only you can do the signature, but everyone can understand your signature. That means people don't know how to sign your signature, but they know how to understand your signature. The same analogy can be used here using public and private key encryption. The server will have the private key of the encryption and the public key will be exposed to all the receivers. So before sending the message, the server will use its private key to sign the message and then the signature will be generated and attached in the JWT. When the signature is received by the receivers, since they have the public key with them, they will decrypt the signature and match it with the contents of the JWT. The receivers can't encrypt to fake a signature because only the sender has the private key. So this is the basis of the signature generation in JWT. To summarize, signature can be generated using a private key which will be only present with the sender. So only sender can generate the signature, but the receivers can validate the signature. Receivers can't create a signature to fake a signature because only server has the private key. So this header information about the signature is actually sent to the receiver because the receiver uses this information to decrypt the signature and match with the JWT to check the integrity of the JWT. Alright, let's try to understand how the signature is generated now. First, the header and payload are separated by a dot. That means this text will be taken, the header and payload which are separated by a dot. So this text will be taken and then a hash of it will be generated. You might have a question, why not encrypt the header and payload directly? Why are we creating a hash of it in between? There are many use cases of creating a hash like SHA-256, bcrypt, etc. But in this specific usage, the creation of hash is actually to compress the size of the JWT signature. What do we mean by that? To understand that, let's try to create a hash of a simple text. In my blog post, I have given a link to online SHA-256 hash generator. So let's go to that. Let's try to paste a random string and create a hash of it. You can see you get 64 characters because SHA-256 output would be a 32 byte. Now let's try to just copy paste this message so that I can make it a big message. You can see my message is very big, but still my output is a SHA-256 32 byte digest or a 256 bit digest. That means even if your message is up to 2 power 64 bits long, your output would still be 256 bits or 64 characters. Imagine having a huge payload and your header and payload combination would be a huge string. That means the signature would also be a huge string. But now since you are encrypting a SHA-256 hash, instead of directly encrypting the payload, your encryption payload and your signature will be small. That means the size of your signature will be limited even if your payload is big. And that is the reason why we are using hashing algorithms like SHA-256 before encrypting the header and payload. Alright, to summarize, the signature is just the encryption of header and payload, but to reduce the size of the encryption, we are actually using hash in between. So first, we hash the header and payload and then we sign it using an encryption. So the server uses the following steps. First, it will create a string which is header.payload and then it uses a SHA-256 hashing algorithm to generate a hash of the header and payload, and then using the private key, the sender will encrypt the hash to generate a signature and append it to the JWT. So that's how you can generate these three sections of the JWT. Alright, the sender has created the JWT and sent the JWT to the receiver. And now the receiver has to validate the JWT to verify the authenticity of JWT. So what do I mean by authenticity of JWT? Suppose during the transmission, some malicious attacker or a hacker actually intercepts the communication and tries to modify this JWT. Let us think the hacker wants to change the JWT payload. He wants to change the name from John Doe to John Doe 123. Manipulating the payload is really easy because you just take the JSON, modify the JSON and create a base 64 URL encode version of this. So you'll get the modified payload. But to modify the signature, the hacker should possess the private key which he doesn't. So without changing the signature, if he just modified the payload, the receiver can easily match the signature with the payload and header and can easily declare that the JWT is tampered. So this is the reason why the receiver should validate the JWT signature. And now let us see the steps involved in how to validate the JWT signature. The signature part of the JWT consists of the encrypted version of hash of header and payload. But since the receiver has access to the public key, he can decrypt the signature and derive the hash of header plus payload. So by decrypting this signature, the receiver can derive the hash of header plus payload. But header and payload are already present in the JWT, right? So the receiver can use this existing header and payload to generate a hash. So let's try to summarize how a JWT is validated. You have the signature in the JWT, just decrypt it using the public key and you'll get a hash of the header plus payload. You already have a header and payload in the JWT, so append them using a dot and then you will get header plus dot plus payload and then generate a hash of it. Then you will get the hash of header plus payload. Match the decrypted signature and the generated hash. If these two match, that means the message was sent by the sender and it is not tampered in transit. So that's it, guys. This is how a JWT is signed and validated. Now let's try to review what are the mechanisms involved in validation and signature. So first, for signature, we use encryption and hashing and base64 URL encoding. So these are the three technologies. Why we use base64 URL encoding? The first advantage is limited character set, and one more thing is to separate the header and payload by a dot. A dot should not be present in the header or payload, right? Base64 URL encoding ensures that. So this is the purpose of using base64 URL encoding. And why we use hash? We use hash for compressing the signature. And obviously, why we use encryption? We use encryption to actually generate the signature. So this is how, using base64 URL encoding, hashing and encryption, JWT creates a signature, and this signature can be used by the receiver to authenticate the JWT. So that's it, guys. That is about JWT signature and validation. I highly recommend you to check out this jwt.io page where you can interactively fiddle with your JWTs and debug it. You can see you can actually paste the public and private keys here and fiddle with the signatures. So that's it, guys. That's how the JWT is signed and validated. You can see I've created a blog post on how a JWT is signed and validated. I've given the explanations and the reasoning and the notes about JWT signing and validation. I have also given the references to the official documentation and various online tools to understand and debug the JWTs. So please be sure to check out the link of this blog post in the description of this video. Please ask questions or post your valuable feedback in the comment section. Hope you like this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Peace.